name is Dayo Oladiji, and this is Rise and Thrive with Dayo. It's a podcast dedicated to helping people discover purpose. Very, very important, discovering your purpose, because if the foundation is good, then the future will be good. So it focuses at young individuals, talking about discovering your purpose and embracing your purpose. Also helping you grow your finances from the scratch, and also helping you manage effective relationships. I believe that relationship management is the core of your growth in life. If you're good at managing your relationships on every phase, then you're good with life. And finally, helping you overcome hurtful events in the past. For example, heartbreak. Helping you manage your emotions effectively. And on this episode of Rise and Thrive with Dayo, I have a very good friend of mine. I'm going to give a brief introduction of this very amazing personality. Is a finance enthusiast. Is a person that has actually, traveled around Nigeria, at least in the last 4 years I've known him, going to different states in Nigeria, educating people about the capital markets, about finance, about helping them growing their finances. Also, is a person that has qualification with the CFI, that is the Corporate Finance Institute, and he also has so many other things to his accolade. He has businesses that he runs. You might look at him that way, but he's doing a business. When I met him, actually, he was doing a dispatch business and also a boutique business, selling clothes, and he's into partially real estate. He's not a person than my very good friend and colleague, Mr. Heritage Adisa.
No, wow.
It's good to have you.
No, wow. Honestly, you line up so.
Well, it's very important.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a long time coming, and finally we have our way here. And I think this opportunity to, talk about things that young people relate with, things that, affect the lives of young people, right, can really help. Right. I think if you can hit this point on the head at the very early stages, it can really save some longer journeys, make them shorter. And I really appreciate you for this initiative. I think it helps a lot of people. We should start to, ginger. Let's get it going.
And before I delve into anything, I'd like you to just tell us briefly about yourself, your background, just something about yourself, so we're going to know who Mr. Heritage is before we go deep into talking about, every other thing.
All right, I'm Heritage Adisa. I'm a financial market analyst. I'm very passionate about the issues around money, the issues around investing, issues around personal finance and personal development. And I like it because I think it can form a person's, values. If you pay attention to these things, these core things I've mentioned, issues of money, investing, finance, and even personal development, I really think there's a limit to what can stop you, right? I am passionate about money, like I said, because I'm also in the education space. I get to meet a lot of people. I get to talk to older people, younger people, people my age bracket, people that are actually professionals in finance and other professional fields. And in some cases, people that are not so into that. And I think that all over tour has helped me to find that gap. And that gap, that knowledge gap in investing in finance, in money matters, right, has really given me that, what's the word now? That's zeal, that ginger, that's fire in my spirit to say, what, there's a need here, there's a gap here, there's some information that needs to pass across to the young generation. And I think if you can pass that across to them, it really will help. Like you were saying about traveling here and there, is good. I think that exposure really helps, right? Having to go through different cities in the country, talking to different people, it helps, right? Now I feel like Lagos I want to go to like Uyo. I like Uyo a lot. All these cities, it just gives you that taste of something different from what you're used to. Yeah. And I really am grateful for the opportunity. And I think this is a good platform to start to share some of the things that we have seen on our travels, on our trips, and see how we can help the next generation become better, individuals in the future.
Superb. Helping the next generation is key because, I believe I was listening to something online and a lady was saying that, when proper information is not passed down from one generation to another, the same thing that the first generation practiced, unfortunately, if they failed while practicing it, they're going to pass it down to the other generation and they'll keep failing. And so it's very important, we look for people that have this knowledge. And also, I believe when you meet people and talk to them, you'll be able to get into the mind of people and how they think. Like 6 years ago, I was talking to a man close to the area where my church is in Lagos. And the man was telling me that, look, I am satisfied with what I have. And I was shocked. He said, I just don't want to have too much money. It's a problem to have too much money. I can pay my rent and I can feed myself and I'm okay. And I said, wow, there is a need for people to understand that even making this money is not just for yourself. So, Heritage, what actually inspired you to start, being intentional about your finance and building wealth generally?
Well, I think association is important. I think the circle you find yourself is key. Imagine being in a circle of people that are going somewhere, people that seem to have their life together, people that seem to have everything in order. Maybe not everything, but on the surface, they're doing okay. And then you look at yourself and then you're earning money, not badly, but then you are still not having money. You know how you earn, you have money, you end of the month, you're paid salary, money enters, but then you are still not having money. And then you wonder what this money is going about. People that are not earning up to you are living fine. They seem to have their things in order. And then when you look at people around you and you see how much they have, paid attention to their life, particularly in the area of finance, in the area of, personal finance, as importantly as it is, it makes you wonder what you are doing with your life. And the annoying part, I'm not a big spender. I don't believe in spending money. Like, I don't do that. So I often wonder, one day I wondered that, look, I earn money, but I don't have money. I earn money, I don't have money. I didn't spend any, so I can't really say this is what I bought specifically. It's not like I'm living, a big life. I don't have the money. Where did all the money go to? So all that annoyance, that day I was so angry. When you're fired up in your spirit, see, this has to end. And why it helped me is because having had that fire in my spirit, you now look around you, the environment helps. So I think that in itself, more like propelled me, helped me to start paying attention to the right things, asking the right questions, and then it helped me to grow. And because I'm an economist by profession in terms of school and study, the issue around money is not so foreign to me, right? It's not so, something I've not heard before. And then I started to pay attention to it and it started becoming interesting. And then you now figure out that, if only I just adjusted this little thing. And the funny thing is, you hear these things all the time. You hear them everywhere. People talk about budget. People talk about live within your means. People talk about debt. And you hear it every day, but you just don't pay attention to it. And because you don't pay attention to it, you cannot see it reflect in your life. One thing occurred to me. I think I was reading something. I can't remember what I was saying, but it was saying something in the lines of, if you listen to your vocabulary, right? And in your vocabulary, there's nothing around money. Stocks, bonds, investing, money markets, right? Personal development. You don't talk about issues. Money language does not come out of your mouth. If you listen to what you say for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, there is nothing around these things that come out of your mouth, then it shows what you're focusing on. It shows what you're paying attention to. And that's the truth. So when I started to hear these things, read these things, see people around me, I got fired up in my spirit. I know I cannot continue like this. Something has to change. And I like that. I'm not like where I want to be, but I know what I'm doing right now. I'm paying attention to the right things. And believe me, it has to get better from here on out.
Amazing. I picked some stuff from what you said. Talking about, being in the right place at the right time. Like the power of association. You are an average of the 5 people you always work with every time. If you work with people that don't believe in financial freedom, then you might never have financial freedom. You won't. You will not, basically. And so I think that really helps a lot. Finding yourself in the right in the right circle with people that will push you to want to do better. And also you mentioned that your vocabulary, that's the money language, that is super. That's new to me, and I think I love it. So when you're talking and you feel that 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you're saying things, it's not centered around you making money or increasing that. It shows that there's something that is missing. And do you know that actually, I think, the issue of finance and money is not being taught enough.
You won't learn it in school.
Yeah, people don't talk about finance. People don't talk about, like somebody told me one time, like, that Dayo, from your salary, how much do you spend in a month? And I'm like, how much do I spend in a month? When I collect salary, when there's a let's just buy it now. The man looked at me and shook his head. It was a mentor of mine. He said, you need to document your spending. That was something for me. Like, document your spending so you know that, okay, this is actually my income. This is what I spent. So this is what I should have left. Because I discovered that when I will collect my salary, I will pay everything, and I'm in debt again. And I'm saying that when I bought the things that were, but the 1 month I tried to say, okay, Dayo, look, food this amount, transport this amount, I was able to tell how much I had left in my account. So I think that is very, very superb. So, what was the turning point for you, and what was your financial state when you made the decision? Because, what was your finance like when you made the decision that, look, enough is enough?
You get to a point when, the circumstances around you fires you up. At the time that I decided that, look, I can't keep doing this, it doesn't make sense, was the point where, like I was saying, I earned money. The money was not bad, but there was nothing, right? And then you just feel like, why? People are not earning up to me, and they look like they're doing better. What am I doing differently, right? I earn money.
Yeah.
The money, I don't spend it on anything serious, but then the money is just not available. And I thought one day that, look, if something happens, let's just even assume, God forbid, something should happen, right? Where am I going to run to? Because nothing really did. You look like things are going fine, but there's really nothing really. There's no major, pillars around you. And that fear, right, kind of pushed me, right? I mean, it's not as if there's so big. And one thing I even learned is the issue of finance and money. It's not difficult though. Like I said, you are not just paying attention. If you intentionally pay attention to yourself, your income, and then what you do with your money, believe me, you notice a lot of things that you can do, and that the money is actually enough. I was talking to somebody when the person was like, the money he earns is not enough. I'm like, I agree. It's very possible to not earn enough, and having to increase your income is a different conversation entirely. But the truth is, whether you keep some or not, the money will finish. It will finish. So better you keep some and spend the rest. If you spend everything will still finish. But when you keep some, it gives you a level of, there's this fulfillment that you feel, that you know that something is somewhere, even if it's 10,000 naira. Something is somewhere. And all of this little information here, and like I said, information association is really important. But this information here and there, and then that's fear that if something happens tomorrow, where do I run to? Right? Kind of started that fire around me. And I'm really grateful for the association I had, the people around me. It just not necessarily verbally telling you, Heritage, do this with your money. But when you see their lifestyle, you see the frugality around them, it more or less just propels you to doing what you think you should be doing.
Nice. I think that's actually very, very important. That is key.